Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Chiefs Digest Tuesday night Q&A with yours truly, Matt Derrick. Our good friend Nick Jacobs will be joining us later, as always. And hope everybody's having a good night. Nice, sunny, chilly-ish spring evening. So hopefully everybody's nice and cozy. If you got like it'd be a great time for a little backyard bonfire. If you got a little fire pit, that'd probably be pretty cool. um I would like to I don't know if I'm starting late or starting early, because I accidentally scheduled the live stream for 7:55 because I wasn't paying attention, and then change it to 7:05 because that was the earliest would let me schedule it. So I showed up at 7:04. So I don't know if that's technically early or technically late. We're gonna just go ahead and take the L on that one, as always. So whatever your time was, hey, 7:04 I know is early for me. So I guess I maybe should take a small victory there, even though that's a very, very, very small victory. But we'll love to see we got some regulars here already, and Luttrell and Chris and Brian. Don't know. I have a lot to talk about off the top of the show tonight. Obviously, Chiefs made a couple of moves this past week. Brought back Mike Edwards, brought in Daenerys Johnson, former defensive lineman with the Raiders, spent most of his time with the Vikings, former 4th-round draft pick. Hey, good little depth piece. I mean, I think that's the case for both those guys, for both him and Brian Edwards, or Brian and Mike Edwards. I feel like, hey, the Chiefs need depth at both of those spots. Bringing in some depth, we'll see where they fit in. Not necessarily, honestly, I mean, even with Mike Edwards, to me, it's not necessarily even a guarantee that makes the 53 at the beginning of the season, but obviously a good piece to have, and especially since the Chiefs do have some question marks at safety, and with some of the young guys still settling in. And I mean, I wouldn't expect Mike Edwards to be a starter, but if he's able to give you some length and depth off the bench as 4th or 5th safety, I mean, that's a pretty good depth piece to have. So familiar with the defense. He kicked around 3 different teams last year: Buffalo, Tampa, spent a week in Tennessee as well. Hey, sometimes, and Tampa was a place obviously he returned to from having been there before. So, hey, sometimes guys just don't fit in. So I understand why, hey, maybe just bounce around a couple of times, come back to a place that you do fit in. Obviously, Mike Edwards fit in here fairly well. He knows what to expect. The defense knows what to expect from him. Robinson, I mean, was a player that a lot of people liked coming out, 4th-round pick. Talking with Nick the other day when we were discussing him on 41 is the Mic, discussions about the fact that Janarius Robinson and Joshua Kando were 2 players that he had kind of grouped together in the same point in the NFL draft. So maybe the Chiefs are just kind of revisiting now the path not taken, and bringing in Janarius Robinson and seeing what he's got, what he can do for this team. We'll see. They need, like I said, they need some depth there, and we'll see what happens. So not a lot of other, not a lot of other hot talk going around, to be honest, at least around the Chiefs. At 31, you're not getting involved in a lot of trade discussions. Obviously, we see a few names, metering in here and there, as far as some of the 30 visits the Chiefs are having and players that they might be talking to. I don't know that there's anything that really is set off any alarm bells or anything that says, hey, this is what the Chiefs are taking in the first round, the direction that they're going. A lot of mock drafts out there going a lot of different directions. I'm behind in my mock drafts, so I need to get my first one out this week. Yes. Might have to even do one. Maybe we can do one live. If Nick comes in later, maybe we should do one live. Nick loves doing a live draft, so maybe we could do simultaneous dueling mock drafts. That's a pretty good idea, Mr. Proctober. We might have to do that when Nick comes in later. Maybe we can do a dueling mock draft. Maybe get some insight on each of the picks. Might be kind of fun. I think let's put that on the to-do list. We might have to do that. So, with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. I know we already have a super chat question from Scott. Scott, why is Josh Simmons still considered a first-round pick? So many are scared of his injury. It's a good sign. Here's the thing about Josh Simmons. I will say, the speculation is across the board on Josh Simmons, and there's nothing really negative about it. Obviously the worst news that came out of this came from the player himself when he said, "Hey, he had a torn patellar tendon in his knee." Those are bad injuries. Now, there has been since then some suggestions that maybe it wasn't a complete tear, which if it's not, that's great. It's not ideal since, even partial tears get kind of treated as complete tears as far as the repair goes. And you've got to just make sure that that's 100% before you're ready to go. And typically with the patella tendon, it's a full year recovery. And then, like we've talked about with knee injuries, it's typically a full year before you're 100%. So I still would expect that anybody who takes Josh Simmons, they're going to be have to be under the understanding is that you're probably not going to get anything from Josh Simmons in year one. You're going to get something from him in year two. Why is he still considered a first round pick? Because he's a left tackle that ticks off a lot of the boxes, has got good size, good athleticism. Without the injury, would probably be arguably maybe the number one left tackle in this draft. And honestly, at a draft in which there are very few legitimate guaranteed left tackles. There's a lot of boards that have Armin Mimbu from Mizzou as the best tackle in this class. And he's a right tackle. He played right tackle in college. So I think asking him to make the move over to left tackle in the NFL is a projection and a leap. So Josh Simmons is a legitimate left tackle. He's got the size, he's got the athleticism, he ticks all those boxes. I would imagine there's got to be some teams, and and the Trey Smith example is a good sign of this. We talk about sometimes that there's players for medical reasons just aren't even going to be on teams board, and there's obviously some great examples of that. Justin Ross was probably not on some teams' boards because they were simply so concerned about the back injury and his history of injuries that they just had no interest in drafting him whatsoever. He goes undrafted. That clearly, I think, tells you that there were teams that didn't have a Justin Ross on their draft boards. With Trey Smith, there were teams that did not have him on their draft boards. And clearly the Chiefs were one of these teams that had him on their board. And it was, hey, this guy is obviously a talent. I don't see how you could look at Trey Smith and look at his college tape and not say that he's at least a third round draft pick. But nobody wanted to take him in the third round because of his history with the blood clot issues and his medical history. So falls to the sixth. Great for the Chiefs. But and had the Chiefs just simply wanted Trey Smith, and if they thought that they could have signed him as an undrafted free agent, he might have gone undrafted. The Chiefs just knew that there was no way. He had deals and offers in place from other teams. He was going to be going somewhere else as an undrafted player. The only way the Chiefs were going to get him is if they drafted him. So that's a guard, though. This is a tackle. Even people that I've talked to who have a negative view on his injury, which is just that it's a concern and you're probably not going to have him in year one. Could be some issues. Nobody sees him going beyond round two just because there's a team that's going to take him. He's not a team guy that's off everybody's boards. And like I said, there's probably some teams that are simply saying to themselves, hey, we would take Josh Simmons, just not with a first round pick. There could be teams that will take him with a first round pick. That's why I think that you still see a lot of that consideration. I think there's even a lot of just not understanding with the injury and a lot of the talk about how well his rehab is going and the positive news around his injury that's still going around, that you've got a lot of people who are doing mock drafts that are probably taking him at a spot where I don't imagine he's going to go. I think it's more likely it is going to go late in the first round. I feel like if you're a team that's got an early first round pick, and I'm talking top 20 here, if you're taking a player that, you're not going to get the play for maybe 12 months, at least a year, that you're probably not even counting on being a part of your team until offseason workouts of 2026. I mean, that's not an immediate impact. And I mean, the Chiefs, I feel like they're a team of an immediate impact. Could they be in the market for Josh Simmons? Quite possibly. But as I've said, I mean, I can't imagine that there's a team that's going to take Josh Simmons that isn't going to have him in for one of their 30 visits so that they can do their medicals. They can get their hands on him, really get a first eye look at how his rehab is going, how that knee looks, what else may be lurking beneath the scenes. So, I mean, that's the long answer about why is Josh Simmons still considered a first rounder, because he's got first round talent. Without the injury, I think he probably would be a pretty slam dunk first round pick. And in a draft where there's no slam dunk first round left tackles, where there's a lot of questions about everybody from a size standpoint and just talent standpoint and experience standpoint at left tackle, that it's just going to make a player like Josh Simmons more valuable, more interested. And Des with the super chat question: are there any players in the draft you don't want to see on any AFC West teams? That's a really good question, because Nick and I have been talking about the Broncos a lot, and just the Broncos, by all accounts, seem to just be 100% all in on the prospect of getting another weapon for Bo Nix and adding to that offense. And so, I mean, who would you not want to fall there? I mean, I know I'm looking at the, again, NFL mock draft database, where I spend a lot of time this time of year, and what's their projection right now for the Broncos? It's Amaria and Hampton from the running back from North Carolina. I mean, that's a good example of a player that I don't think you'd want to fall to the Broncos. I mean, I don't think you'd want one of the top running backs, top 2, top 3 running backs. I don't think you'd necessarily want one of the top 2, type 3 tight ends, one of the best receivers. It seems like there's a lot of, I see a lot of mock drafts either having the Broncos going with a running back or a tight end at that spot. There may be some other positions as well, and like I said, receiver's a really interesting one, just because there's only maybe a couple of receivers that are really considered maybe slam dunk, first round talents. Luther Burden from Missouri is one that there's a lot of divide on, and I get that there's been some bad buzz for him, and maybe that's legitimate, maybe it's not. This time of year, you never know what's information that's coming out there as far as whether it's legitimate or not, or somebody's trying to drive down somebody's value because they want him to fall to a certain spot. We've seen it all, so I never know for sure. When you're talking about unnamed sources and unnamed scouts, where it can really be coming from and what the motivation is. But there's any number of players that I think, even still, I mean, even though this is a really weird wide receiver group, I mean, if Matthew Golden from Texas fell there, I think that would be a player that you don't want to fall to the Broncos. If the Broncos are able to get themselves a legitimate playmaker to help out Bo Nix, that's what I would think would be a problem. The Chargers, right now, I think this is a little bit of probably, it's a good fit and everything. This currently, the mock draft, the NFL mock draft database currently has Kenneth Grant, going Michigan defensive lineman, going to the Jim Harbaugh. So that would absolutely make sense. Obviously, you see the fit there about why that might be a place where they would go, come reunited with his old head coach. So that would make sense. I mean, I still think that the Chargers, I mean, they need to score. They need to build up offense. So, I mean, I still think that they need some weapons too, but going on the defensive side, hey, what does Jim Harbaugh want to do? He wants to build that team from the inside out. So last year they hammered the offensive line. Would it surprise me if they hammered the defensive line this year? No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. So that is the kind of pick that would make a lot of sense for them. So maybe we are talking about that. Maybe is really the two things you don't want to see the Chargers and the Broncos do. You don't want the Chargers to have a really good defensive draft, after really bulking up the offense last year, getting a couple of bookend tackles for the future, getting set there. And you'd like to see that the Broncos not end up with some more offensive weapons. I mean, anything that Sean Payton can, any toys that Sean Payton can get, you don't want him to get. So I think that's probably a good just rule of thumb that I would have, is that any draft that ends up with the Broncos with some offensive talent is good for them, defensive talent for the Chargers. There's nobody that worries me about the Raiders right now. I mean, they're a few years away from being worrisome. We'll see if Tom Brady's presence, if Pete Carroll's presence can get that thing turned around, but they're more than one draft or one player or anything from turning around that thing. Would it be a quarterback that they could finally get that would make the difference this year? I mean, I'm projection I'm looking at right now has Ashton Gente going to the Raiders. And does that scare me? No, because I mean, the Raiders had Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs was a really, really good running back too. I mean, there's no guarantee that Ashton Gente is going to be any better than Josh Jacobs. He might not be. I mean, he could end up being a whole lot better, but there's a reasonable chance that he's not better than Josh Jacobs. And Josh Jacobs didn't take the Raiders anywhere. You need more than one player. You need some help. So unless they get their quarterback straightened out, and I don't think that the Raiders have their quarterback situation straightened out yet. It's a mandated best right now for the Raiders. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, okay, so that's my final answer. Raiders doesn't matter. Broncos, no offense. Chargers, no defense, at least not, significant upgrades in those areas. That's what I think would make them scary enough going forward. Chris, are the Chiefs playing in Brazil this year? If yes, are you and Nick going on that trip? If you are, I have tips from attending the Eagles-Packers game last year. Hey, Chris, fire away. I remember you talking about that and going to the game. So, fire away. Leave your tips in the comments section. Let us know. A lot of do not know to all of these questions, Chris. I mean, we don't know for sure that the Chiefs are playing the Chargers in Brazil. Sounds like there's a very, very good chance of that. Obviously, the ground has been softened up a little bit, so the Chargers can at least see how their fan base reacted to it. And even though it wasn't really on the radar, back at the Super Bowl, we had a lot of conversations, and the NFL announced at that point, they had announced, I believe, the opponents at the Super Bowl. They were announcing the opponents for the Ireland game, or the teams for the Ireland game. They were announcing that there was going to be a game in Australia, and that was going to be the Rams playing there. So there was some revealing there about just, what were some of the future games that the NFL was doing internationally. And so, the Chiefs were in a lot of conversations, but generally the conversation was that there's nobody willing to give up home games with the Chiefs to go overseas. And the one question was the Jaguars, and even somebody with the Chiefs told me at the Super Bowl that really probably the only team that would be a potential overseas opponent for the Chiefs this year would be Jacksonville, if they were interested. That doesn't look like, and that won't come to fruition. But the Chargers opportunity kind of popped out of nowhere with going to Brazil. And I mean, on one hand, it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense because Chiefs are a draw, and that's definitely the Chargers leaving some money on the table by not having the gate and the same enthusiasm from their fans and the same excitement in that building from the Chiefs being there. Although here's the other problem is that whether in their smaller soccer stadium or in their new stadium in LA, it's still a pretty good Chiefs crowd. So is this a way for them to feel like that they're mitigating the home field advantage, or at least elevating their own home field advantage so that the Chiefs don't have as much of a fan presence? Maybe. I mean, I think it'll probably backfire a little bit because the Chiefs do have a pretty decent fan base in Brazil. Going back to when Cairo Santos was with the Chiefs, there was a lot of people that became Chiefs fans because of Cairo, and they're still Chiefs fans because the Chiefs are winning. So we'll see if that works out. But will I go? Will Nick go? Nick never gets to make road trips, so that's for his job. He always has to be back in the studio. So I'm fairly sure I can say that he will not get that opportunity. I have not made one of the road trips internationally overseas. Certainly budget wise, it's always a question for me. I'm also not a huge, 6'4" and of generous proportions. So long international flights aren't something that I really, really want to do. And I still haven't got my passport. So I'd have to get my passport on top of that. So if it's going to happen, I guess I'd have to make sure it's pretty quick, because I would probably need to get my passport now if I want to have it in time for a game in September. Might not even be quick enough. So Neo Thomas. So any feelings you have settled on what position the Chiefs go in the first round? I mean, to me, it's still really wide open. You don't really know what's going to be there. I mean, there's a lot of options about who could be there. 31. Then you throw in the options about the Chiefs can move up, move back. There's plenty of different outcomes, and just predicting what 30 and other NFL teams are going to do in front of you is hard enough. I mean, I still feel like it's a general rundown of the positions that we've all talked about, that it's more than likely going to be a premium position, so that's what you take in the first round. So offensive tackle, defensive end, defensive tackle, wide receiver, corner. I mean, I can see other positions getting involved. Hey, if the best player on your board is a safety or a tight end, you listen to your board. So I mean, I was talking with Ryan Trace over Locked On Chiefs earlier today, and we were talking about just kind of what would you not expect. I mean, I don't expect the Chiefs to take a linebacker at 31. That would really surprise me. An offensive guard would really surprise me. So there's things that would knock me up. Not expecting to take a quarterback in the first round. Obviously, there's things that would be shockers. But at this point, I mean, all I could really say is, and I was talking when I was talking with Ryan today, it's like, okay, you just get into what's a consensus player that looks like they'd be available at 31. I see a lot of Walter Nolan. I see a lot of Luther Burdens on the board at that spot. I know, hey, there was a mock draft out today, I think, that had Josh Simmons going to 31. I mean, I'm assuming the Chiefs aren't going to be interested in Josh Simmons until I see Josh Simmons in Kansas City on a 30 visit. If that happens, then we'll consider that a possibility. But it's wide open. Truly is, Neo. I mean, there's a lot of different directions. Just depends on what the teams in front of you are going to do and who's the best player on your board available. And that's to even say the Chiefs might not even make a tick in the first round. If they get an offer to move back and they still think that they can get a player that they want, I would be all for moving back and getting more draft picks if I'm Brad Veach, because you can never have enough draft picks going forward. Dog Petter, I know Chiefs are set on receivers, but do you think during camp we could look to bring in someone like Renfrow to compete? I'd be surprised. I mean, hey, the Chiefs will certainly probably bring in, a couple of undrafted free agent receivers and add them to the mix. There could be some veterans that work their way into it, but I can, once again, you look at this wide receiver room, and if you're a veteran, would it make sense to come here? I mean, I feel like that the Chiefs could very easily have 5 wide receivers on the roster with what they've got now, maybe 6, and not really see a place like a Hunter Renfrow or any other veteran that could come back and come in and fit into this group. So, and now that's banking on the fact that everybody's healthy and coming back. But when you've got a group that includes Hollywood and Rashid, Xavier. You've got, hey, if Nico Remigio was making this team for special teams, there's 4 right there. You've got Juju coming back. I mean, there's already kind of a veteran in that spot. So I would think that if you're a veteran wide receiver, and the only thing that would really appeal to you about Kansas City would be Mahomes, because otherwise the opportunity and the money aren't there. You'd really just be coming for Mahomes and a chance to win a ring. But if you want to play and you want to make money, KC would probably not be the first on your list of places to go. Sean, your opinions on Rick Burkholder. What do players think of him? I mean, an interesting question, Sean, because there were some harsh things that were noted and have been noted over the last couple of years in the NFLPA survey. Um, I I try. I don't think I have an opinion on Rick. I mean, Rick has always been very good to me. He's very kind. He's gone out of his way to help us with stories in the past, as just the media in general. He has done a couple of sessions on concussion protocol and medical protocols, and it has been very forthcoming with all of those things and very helpful, very generous with his time. So I have no issues there. I mean, and I can't say that I have had a player specifically come to me and say that they have an issue with Rick Burkholder. I know the NFLPA survey a couple of years ago had some anonymous comments in there that maybe they felt like sometimes the organization played favorites, and maybe that's true. At the same time, Rick has been with Andy Reid for a long, long time, and ultimately, the opinion of the ball coach is what matters the most. And he's been with Rick for 25 plus years, I believe. So that's pretty much probably the only opinion that matters. But I'll be honest. I mean, no, I can only speak to my experience with Rick as just a reporter and in his position. And I'll say he's always he has been more, I think, forthcoming and giving of his time than a lot of other people in the league at his position. So I give him that. I can't really say much beyond that. And if any players ever want to come forward and put their names next to things, and the NFLPA survey says some things, we'll talk about that. But all right, Mr. Proctor, I think we got it. I think we might have to really do a mock draft. So I'm gonna see if we'll see if we can talk Nick into it. Maybe he's listening right now, and we can. Des, I think I missed your first question. I'm sorry, bud. Do new free agents get the playbook when they sign or OTAs? Really good question, because I don't know for sure. I imagine a possibility that it could depend on the position. But I would expect that when free agents sign, they come into the building in March. They're probably given their tablet at that time, and the tablet's what eventually is going to have everything in there. So I would assume, and hey, during March and everything, playbook's probably not exactly what you'd say set. So there could be just some general concepts in there. Maybe there's some plays that will just some base forms, formations, base scheme that's in there that you're always that this team is always going to run offensively or defensively. So maybe there's just some concepts in general that are in there. But I would imagine when they sign, they go through their orientation, they go through their physical, they're probably given everything and then given their tablets. And then once everything becomes available, it's uploaded to that tablet and it's ready to go. And they'll get film or whatever it is that the coaches and the team wants them to watch and review. So it's a good question. I mean, and that it leads me to a better question, Des, is that I kind of wonder, and this is something I think I'm going to definitely ask Andy Reid, that ask some of the players, is when is the playbook available for the coming season? I mean, obviously, we know Rashee Rice apparently had the playbook in his car last year in March, early April. So something's available. But that's a good question as far as, like when it's really locked in, because we talk about, the team doing installs and everything during OTAs. So that's when they start putting in the offense. But it does raise a question about, when is it locked? When is everything in? When, is that in May? Is it April? Is it March? I mean, it's a good question, Des. I'm gonna put that on my list. I appreciate that. That's a good one. Sean, yeah, Ryan and Dan from RGR high on Simmons in the first. Have you talked with them much about it? I haven't talked with Dan, but I have talked with Ryan about it. I am definitely aware that they're big Josh Simmons fans, and I get it. It's just simply, I mean, from the talent, from what you have seen on the field from Josh Simmons, absolutely. I mean, he's a first round talent. My concern is simply that patella injuries are difficult to recover from, and most players are never the same after that. So, I mean, you can attack your rehab as much as you possibly can. You can try to gain as much strength and ability as you possibly can. I have never seen a player, and granted, I mean, this is unusual having a player in their final year of college football, in October, their final year of college football, having a patella tendon injury, and then, going into the draft. Very rare. I mean, we don't have a sample size. I mean, we've got a sample size of about one to draw from, but it is just so difficult for players to come back from that injury, and they are usually not 100% of themselves. Hey, if Josh Simmons can be back and become 99% of himself, great. Maybe that's still good enough to be left tackle in the NFL. Is 90%? Is 85? I mean, that's where it gets to be more of a question. And that's why, I mean, and you're the Chiefs. You're a team that you need to get production out of your draft picks. You can't afford to completely whiff on one. Or in this case, you could last year. You could whiff on Kingsley Suamataia because if Kingsley, if his floor was that he's going to be a really good guard, great. You don't have that really luxury right now, because if you're taking a pick at a first round pick on a left tackle, I mean, one, if that player turns into a guard, it's not a great pick. But two, you got no place for him right now. I mean, you're set at guard potentially for next 3-4 years. So you really don't need a guard. So if your fallback position is that Josh Simmons can play guard, I mean, that doesn't do you much good, because you're set at guard right now. You'd have a glut of that. So I just don't feel like it's a risk that you can take. And now maybe the Chiefs will take that risk and I'll look like an idiot. Who knows? But and another team might take him and it'd be a great fit for them, and I'll look like an idiot. Who knows? But I just wouldn't take the risk. If I'm the Chiefs, you got too much riding on first round picks in that left tackle spot to take a gamble like that, to me. But I might be more risk adverse than most. Jesus, does Nick still want 2 running backs for the Chiefs? Are you talking about out of the draft? I mean, I think that would probably be a much. But I tell you what, Jesus, that's going to be my first question for Nick when he gets here. So I'll make sure to bring that up again. I think my impression from Nick is I think he still wants a running back out of this draft. I don't know that he necessarily needs 2. Maybe an undrafted free agent. There's somebody that he really likes that's sticking around out there. I could see that. But I don't know necessarily that he needs 2 running backs out of the draft, but we'll find out. Like I said, that's the first question that Nick is getting when he gets here. Jesus, so we'll take care of you. I promise. Let's see. Jesus Oscar asking, can we get Nick and Nicolato winner shirts? We really should maybe get a check of that $1 million check in Wisconsin, but that says Nicholas Jacobs. We get that on a shirt for him. There's another idea for a shirt for Nick. I like that. I like that idea. Brian, is Ursery worth 2 picks? You want to move up, Brian? You want to jump up from 31 to get Ursery? I mean, good player, obviously. And when you're talking about, left tackle candidates, I mean, he's one of my more favorites. I mean, obviously, it's looking up his details again. I can't keep track of everybody's arm length, and especially since everybody has 3 different arm lengths between the bowl games and the combine and pro days. But he came in like 33 and an 1/8. So, I mean, that's borderline. I like the tape. I like everything except the arm length. Size is good. I mean, he would be a guy that I'd take and potentially put at left tackle. He just wouldn't be my, I say first round pick. I mean, if he's at 31 and he's once again the best player on my board, I would take him. And there's a chance. I mean, depending on how the Chiefs have their board stacked, maybe that could be a scenario. But if my goal were to get Ariante Essery, I think he's available at 31. I mean, once again, I'm not discounting the fact that maybe somebody else in the league loves him, is going to take him. That's a potential trade back guy for me that I would try to maybe trade back into the second round, still get my guy, and maybe pick up a draft pick or two. So maybe in that scenario, there's a quarterback that somebody wants that's available at 31, and they're willing to jump back into the first round to get them. But I mean, I feel like the Chiefs, if you've got principles about what a player is and what skills a player needs, what length a player needs, if there's anything that you've got that's a standard for that position, and you go against that standard, I mean, one, you're taking a risk, but if you do it, there ought to be a reason why you're taking the risk. I mean, the Chiefs don't necessarily have a hard and fast rule on cornerback, but drafting Trent McDuffie at 5'10", he's shorter than the Chiefs would normally like. I mean, normally the Chiefs would just say, hey, we want our corners to be 6 feet tall, or we want their arms to even be, if they're not 6 foot, as long as they've got long arms, they're going to be fine. And Trent McDuffie didn't have that, but he had everything else. He had the tape. He had everything else to back it up. I mean, if you're a team that believes that your left tackle needs to have 34-inch arms, and that's just the minimum standard, if you go outside that realm and outside that metric and take a chance, I feel like, one, it's something you can only do once. I don't think it's something that you repeat doing. And two, you need to have a legitimately good reason for doing that. And that should be because, hey, this guy's tape blows you away. It should be, doesn't matter how long this guy's arm is. He'd be a first round tackle if his arms were 29 inches. To me, Ursery's not that good. He's not in that kind of category. I mean, if he was, he'd be a slam dunk number 1 pick for everybody. So, I mean, is he worth 2 picks, Brian? He'd be worth 2 picks to me if you're trading back in the second round and getting a second pick back. So there you go. There's your 2 picks. Seeing Sam talk about Colston Loveland and Kenneth Grant. Don't want to see those with the Chargers or the Broncos. I'm with you. I mean, like I said, if you get Bo Nix a tight end or a high end running back, that's a problem. And defense on the Chargers, especially on the defensive line, that would be a problem. I'm glad to say I'm not alone in the Luther Burden fan club. I have I don't know if we actually placed anything on. I have a gentleman's wager with my brother from another that's also a Mizzou fan, and we had a conversation months ago, like back in September, about whether or not Luther Burden was going to be a first round pick. And so if he's not a first round pick, I'm going to lose that bet. So I kind of need that to break through. Rick, your skin has some color. You don't look pale. Did you fix the lighting, or did you stay off the sucralose? It is more of a lighting. I have still been drinking the Gatorade Zero because I'm not doing a really good job of staying off the Dr. Pepper. I am trying to. Today was my first day without any Dr. Pepper today. I also didn't have any Gatorade today. So today it's just been a tea and no water day. So far, so good. We'll see about the energy. But yes, I've adjusted the lighting. I've adjusted the camera. So I'm trying to look less like Casper the Friendly Ghost and a little bit more natural. So hopefully if my hair were nicer today and I wasn't wearing the hat, you would see I still have a bit of a shiny spot coming on my head off the ceiling light. But I'm glad somebody noticed, Rick. I'm glad you noticed that, yes, we're working on the lighting, so I hopefully look a little bit more natural and not quite, like I said, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Mr. Proctober, any chance we finally see a Veach trade down from 31? I think it's a distinct chance. I mean, and And I just because I talked with Ryan over on Locked On Chiefs today, this was another topic that we kind of discussed, and it reminds me of just when the conventional wisdom was that Brett Veach didn't put any resources into the cornerback spot because he hadn't taken one, early in a draft. He hadn't spent any money on one in free agency, and the conventional wisdom was just that that's not what he believed in. And I knew from talking to Brett that he absolutely believed in putting resources into the cornerback position. It's just that the circumstances hadn't happened, that there had been, some corners that they'd been interested in the free agent market where things didn't work out. There were corners that they circled in the draft and thought about taking at certain spots, and situations didn't work out. So I think that part of it is just that Veach hasn't had the chance to trade down, and people talk about, he's traded his number one pick, period. I mean, obviously he traded a number one for Frank Clark. He traded a number one for Orlando Brown. Even if he wasn't the GM of record, he absolutely was trading first round picks for Patrick Mahomes. So, it's, to me, it's just been a matter of circumstance, or even a way you look at it. Because Veach has traded out of the first round. You look at it from a certain point of view, and I think that there were, once again, I'll say it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think in 2020 and 2023, Brett Veach would have liked to have traded out of the first round if he had his druthers, but it didn't work out. In 2020, there was no buyer. They couldn't find anybody who wanted the pick in 2020, so they stuck there and took Clyde. 23, I don't know how seriously he shopped around, trying. I think that he would have liked to have been able to get Felix Anudike-Uzomah in the second round, and that would have been his preference. But I also know that obviously Clark Hunt wasn't completely joking when he said that Brett could not trade out of the first round in 2023 with the draft in Kansas City. So I still wonder if the 2023 draft had been in another city, if Brett Veach doesn't trade out of there, trade back into the second round, and still get Felix Anudike-Uzomah. So Brett Veach is going to do it at some point. It's just that he needs the right circumstance, and the right circumstance needs to be there's not a player that he significantly wants there. There's a player that he believes he can trade down and still get what he wants. And obviously, 3, you need a buyer. You need somebody that's willing to trade with you. And that means, that you have a team that you share concepts with. That's the other thing that also often gets lost in these NFL trades. And sometimes you wonder, why is it the same teams that trade with each other with draft picks? It's there's different. Every team has a little bit different value about how they value draft picks. Some people use a variation of like the Jimmy Johnson chart, or there's other charts that are out there about how they value draft picks. If you've got two organizations that use two different charts, matching up a trade that makes sense is very difficult to do. It becomes almost impossible. And so that's why, I think that you do see it kind of narrowed down. Why the Chiefs make a lot of trades with the Bills. They share similar draft charts. I'm assuming that there's some connectivity. The Chiefs probably share a similar draft chart with the Bears and Carolina, with Tennessee, now that Mike Berganzi's there, probably share a draft chart in common. So I think that could make trades a little bit easier. Chiefs have traded draft picks with the Giants before, so probably some connectivity there. They at least share a similar concept of what draft pick value is. So, I think there's probably at least a half dozen spots behind them early in the second round where they could make a trade, and that's the other element you have to have. You have to have a buyer, motivated buyer. Maybe it is. If there's a quarterback available, maybe, hey, if somebody wants to make sure they get the quarterback they want because they didn't grab one earlier in the first round, but they think that, hey, there's a guy they really like. Maybe Jackson Dart falls and is available at 31. That was the guy that probably makes the most sense at this point, unless there's just some sort of random quarterback. Somebody decides that they're absolutely in love with Dylan Gabriel and has to move up to 31 to get him. But, Jackson Dart is that guy that's kind of sticking around. Jalen Milroe is another one. Generally has a second round grade on him, but if he's available at 31 and you want to jump up and get him, might be you have to. I mean, you're gonna have to jump over some teams to do that. So that's traditionally been the belief that if you're gonna trade late in the first round, trade out, you need somebody who's interested in the quarterback. Nikki, I said you'd go to Europe for a game. I think you're going to get a chance because, like I think I mentioned the other day on the 41 is the mic. I mean, the Chiefs want to play in both Germany and Spain, and Spain's one that they really want to play in. So I would not be terribly surprised if the next time that the Chiefs take a home game overseas, it is in Spain. I think that's more likely. Germany would be good. They definitely want to, double down in Germany because that's one of their markets, and they've made a lot of headway in Germany, and really right now the number one team apparently in Germany. So they'd love to double down on that, and also get the Switzerland and Austria markets too, because that's another two places that they are marketing the team. So I wouldn't be surprised, but yes, Barcelona would be the dark horse to me, the sleeper pick for the next time that the Chiefs take a game overseas. Julia Gulia, Veach never seems to pay cornerbacks. Is McDuffie playing for a contract outside KC? I mean, again, Julia, I think it's just a matter of circumstance. I mean, I do think that at some point, Brett Veach is going to pay a corner because the right corner is around. I mean, he's paid some free agent money for a corner. So it's happened way before. But I mean, if you are going to pay anybody to be a top of the market corner, I mean, Trent McDuffie's the guy. Yeah, I mean, he's just one, he's too good, but two, and I'm not like saying I've seen every single corner in the league. I've seen quite a few come through Kansas City, and there's a lot that have been good dudes. Absolutely. I mean, take your pick. I mean, Traveris Ward was one of the quietest, best dudes in the world, and Traveris Ward's another one that I would say was outside the box because, Traveris wasn't a diva of any sort. Traveris had some confidence, no doubt about it. But Traveris was a quiet dude. He wasn't going around telling you how great he was, or Traveris Island or anything like that. I mean, he was a pretty quiet, keep to himself dude that you wouldn't think was a shutdown corner, but he turned himself into one. Herm McDuffie, I mean, he's smart. Not just football IQ, off the field smart, but just, I mean, not assuming. I mean, he is not a diva personality. He's not one of those types. So, sometimes you associate, hey, you got to be a diva to be a good corner. I don't believe that. And McDuffie is not. So, I mean, to me, for all of the reasons, I mean, good teammate, not a gung-ho, rah kind of leader, but a leader by example, a hard worker, does all the right things, somebody you want all your other players to be like. I mean, if you've got somebody else to be the rah gung-ho guy, and the Chiefs have some of those guys. I mean, Brian Cook is one of those guys. There's others, they've got. You got somebody else to be the rah guy. Trent McDuffie can be your leader by example kind of guy. And I mean, to me, ticks all the boxes. I mean, the only thing that I think would really keep the Chiefs from getting something done long-term with Trent McDuffie is if he and his agent just come to the conclusion, wait a minute, there's a reason why this guy is one of the best in the biz, and he is a good teammate. He is all these things. So he needs to be paid $30 million and needs to be making more than Stingley or J.C. Horn or Patrick Surtain. If that's the philosophy, then that's why it might not get done. But I'm still under the assumption that the Chiefs will pay Trent McDuffie. So just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. You just have to wait for the right circumstance and the right player. And let's be honest. I mean, I think you could probably say that Brett Veach has made the right decisions on the couple of times when he passed. I mean, obviously it's only been 1 year, but there were concerns that L'Jarius Sneed, eventually that knee was going to slow him down, and that the Chiefs defense was the perfect fit for him. He wouldn't be the same player elsewhere. In year one, we kind of saw that. I mean, L'Jarius Sneed didn't live up to the new contract in year one in Tennessee. So right now you'd say that was the right move by Brett Veach. Obviously, Traveris Ward played really well in San Francisco. So maybe could you have said in retrospect, maybe paying Traveris Ward was the wrong decision. Maybe you should have paid him. That I think is a defensible argument. It was a lot of money at the time, but I think Treverish earned his money. So maybe one that he was a push on, right or wrong. I mean, I think you could make the case either way on Treverish and that contract and the decisions that you made. L'Jarius, I think you'd say right now so far it was the right move. Doesn't mean it'll be going forward. You have to keep reevaluating that. But once again, I think it's right circumstance, things get done. And Trent McDuffie, I think it's going to be the right circumstance. Scott, what is Chiefs fans' infatuation with every ex-Raiders player that comes on the market? Yesterday was Jack Jones. They were Raiders for a reason. I think probably more than anything, Scott, I'm assuming is that a lot of it's just familiarity. You see these guys a lot, and you see players that play, and you're like, okay, hey, you know what? We saw that guy twice a year for the last few years, 4 or 5 years. That guy can play, hey, what about him? Maybe the Chiefs should bring him in. So I'm guessing it's a little bit more of that, just the familiarity that you have with the Raiders since you see them every year. Probably something true to a degree about the Broncos and the Chargers players that when they become available. I know there's been a lot of, there's been some Broncos receivers that a lot of teams have wanted in the last few years. And I've been pestered for what seems like 5 years about when's Mike Williams of the Chargers going to be a Chief. And obviously that could have happened this year, but didn't. So I think that's might be what fuels it more than anything else is that when you see, guys that many times and you see guys that make plays, you think, hey, the person becomes available, why not bring them into Kansas City? You just, there's probably other guys around the league you just don't see as much. So therefore, when they become available, they're not as familiar to you as a name. Man, we are getting a lot of Sky Moore questions the last couple of weeks from A1 Buds. Does Sky make the 53 roster? And it looks like you have that another question that got cut off, A1. So if I think I see it. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to the next one and the second part. Sky, I don't know. I mean, right now I would have him on the outside looking in. It's a deep roster right there at that spot. I think he's going to face an uphill battle. Wouldn't necessarily surprise me if the Chiefs shopped him, maybe even for a draft pick. I don't know what you can get. I mean, you can only get what production shows. I would imagine that there's a team out there that probably thinks that they've got the recipe for unlocking what Sky does because they have maybe a better fit for him, better position for him, better quarterback for him, better coach for him. Maybe they just feel like that they can unlock it. If you're Brett Veach and you need a 6th or 7th round pick, which you might want one, why not? I mean, because I do think that's going to be tough for Sky to make this roster. And if that's the case, and it doesn't mean just the draft, it could very well you get into the training camp. And we've seen it before. I mean, Chiefs had Amir Smith-Marset that I thought was right on the borderline a couple of years ago of making the roster. It was a tough case. Hey, they ended up trading him to Carolina for a draft pick before the beginning of the season. So that can happen. So even though I may say right now, it looks like maybe Sky's on the wrong side of the bubble, doesn't mean that he can't have a good training camp and maybe put him in a spot where maybe another team will want to take a chance on him. And the second part of your question that got cut off, how far does Shedeur Sanders fall? And that's not even assuming he does fall. I don't know. I mean, and that's a really curious of just the way that everything's kind of been handled with him. And I mean, there's a lot of talent there. Absolutely, there's a ton of talent. I think this is what fascinates me because, like I said, I lean on the NFL mock draft database, with their projections and what they get because they take all these mock drafts and they put them together in a pool and tell you, like what's the average pick, where was the peak position of this player, where do they fall, and then kind of what is the consensus right now for them. And I mean, Shedeur's listed as the number 4, player in the draft, and yet his projection is nowhere because there's just no one has any idea where he's going to go. I mean, I can, and if things that once again, speculation during the NFL draft is terrible. So you never know what to believe and what's true. I mean, it could very well be that there's a team in the top 4 or 5. I mean, there are teams that are quarterback hungry in the top 4 or 5. That maybe they'll take Shedeur. Maybe he's going to go number 4, number 5, number 6 overall. Who knows? I mean, could he fall? I can't imagine him falling out of the first round. I mean, that to me just seems kind of crazy. I'm assuming that somebody will take him. And, and I think I understood today, Jalen Milroe got invited to the NFL draft for the first round. And I mean, I know we have seen before that there have been mistakes and players that end up sitting around and don't get drafted in the first round or get drafted much later than expected. But normally, when it's especially these days, when NFL teams invite players to the NFL first round, it's because there is someone who is guaranteeing them that they're going to be taken by a certain spot. I mean, it always feels a little dumb to me because, even if you're in the top 15, there are still things that can happen. And you'd be like, wait a minute, we were going to take Jalen Milroe. We're going to take Shedeur Sanders, but we didn't know this guy was going to be available at 15. So now we're going a different direction. Those things can happen. So, but if a player gets invited to the NFL, and I haven't seen about Shedeur, I'm assuming that he's been invited. Don't know if he would accept it, but that the whole decision making over there, I can't keep track of anything and what's in the best interest of anybody. So we'll see what happens, but I'd be really super surprised if he fell too late. So I think he absolutely is still going to go in the first round. Glad some of you also were having the same idea that I had about Rashee Rice's playbook. Brian, do the Chiefs still have playbooks or play Kindles? There are both. Yes. For some of the coaches are still old school. So I would imagine Andy Reid still, for the most part, wouldn't be surprised if Andy, for the most part, works off of a playbook. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do know that they're both out there. So, I mean, obviously the tablets are amazing because with the tablets and the way that they're set up now, you can be looking at a play, and if you're the player and you're looking at the play, you can click on it and you can bring up that play from practice to see what it looked like when it ran. You can see what you did on that play, whether you can scout yourself, see what you did, if you did it right, how you can improve. You can look up your routes and games that are similar. I mean, if this was a ZN, as Andy likes to always just give as an example, as a receiver route, a ZN. I mean, if you want to, your tablet can show you all your ZNs that you ran, different routes, different distances, everything. I mean, you can pull those up. So, I mean, the play tablets, and I think that they're all Microsoft tablets because of sponsorship, although there's probably some iPads running around somewhere, I'm sure. But yeah, I know that playbooks do still exist, that there are some that are still printed out. And I imagine that for the most part, maybe they're just for some of the old school coaches. And like I said, I can't imagine Andy Reid sitting at home swiping through his tablet. But I guess maybe I need to update my stereotypes of Andy Reid. So maybe I'm being insulting to Big Red. There's another question for me to ask: is if Andy Reid has his tablet that he goes through. I'm sure he does when he's watching film, because I'm sure they've got that set up for him to be able to watch his film on a tablet. And I do know that I've heard about him watching film on laptops before, so I do know he is that. Checking out Chris's Brazil tips in Rio, get a hotel overlooking the beach in Copacabana. Stayed at the JW. Yeah, I don't know if JW would be in my price range there, Chris. Does Rio have a Motel 8? Not quite that bad. I don't have to stay in that. But if there's like a Wyndham Garden, that might be more up the Chiefs Digest budget alley for Rio. So let's see. Oh, and your third tip. At the end of the strip in Copacabana, there is a a Pirates-themed Brazilian steakhouse called Maria's de Gustetter. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Come hungry and enjoy. I mean, you had me a Brazilian steakhouse, so that sounds fantastic. And yes, Anthony, I also hope that if the Chiefs are playing in Brazil, that the field conditions are better, because that did look like it was being held on an ice skating rink last year. Nikki, when are the Chiefs OTAs? And you would think that I would have these memorized by now, because the schedule just came out this week, but I have not yet memorized them yet. So for the Chiefs, let me pull it up here. Their dates for the off-season workouts, first day is April 21st, and anymore that has usually become like a virtual day, because that's the beginning of what they call phase one. You're seeing some teams right now, the Raiders first day is April 8th. Teams with new head coaches get to start 2 weeks early, so that's why you're going to see some teams starting their OTAs right now. Chiefs, April 21st is their first date. And like I said, that's typically virtual. If the Chiefs do it the same way that they have done it in years past, that first phase is going to be virtual. That's when I think you would expect to see Patrick Mahomes doing his passing camp down in Texas. They're going to be they would have team meetings online and doing all of that virtual. It's obviously before the draft. So, it's the new guys aren't in yet. And remember, with the rookie players, rookies won't really start showing up until late May when the offseason workouts begin. So April 21st is that first day. Which like I said, I expect that to be virtual. Not a lot of players in the building. If they're local, they might be in the building, come in for workouts periodically. But that's the last couple of years, Andy Reid has let the group, and I would expect, like I said, for that to continue to work on their own at home in their own facilities for the first couple of weeks. There's a lot of advantages to that. Like I said, I mean, if Patrick Mahomes holds his passing camp down in Texas, these guys can go down there and they can throw with Patrick and do whatever they want to. If they come to Kansas City and they're at the facility, they can't be throwing footballs back and forth. For phase one is just conditioning. So there's no football drills. There's not, guys on the field throwing and catching passes, running routes, anything like that. All you can do is strength and conditioning. So that's why, in the past, you always would hear players during OTAs get stray sightings of them out at, some high school throwing a football around, because they can't do it at the facility. What obviously Andy Reid has loved about this, doing it virtually, Patrick's able to take the pass catchers, all go down to Texas. He's able to, anything that he wants to do in a private facility down in Texas, away from the Chiefs, you can do anything you want to. So you can play football, you can throw passes, you can run routes, do whatever you want to. It's not against the NFL rules. So April 21st, that first day. Then calendar-wise, obviously you're going to have the NFL draft. The next 2 weekends after the NFL draft, so that first weekend of May and the second weekend of May, are rookie mini camps. So I believe the Chiefs are going to be the first weekend in May. Then there's the second weekend. And that's one of those things for rookies. If you're a rookie, like an undrafted free agent, you can go to a rookie minicamp for 2 different teams. That's perfectly allowed. I mean, you can go to the first rookie minicamp, and then if the team doesn't let you go, or just the tryout basis, you'll see a lot of players go to 2 different rookie minicamps. But if you're doing one weekend, you're off the other. So once the rookies are done with a rookie minicamp, they're discharged. They're kind of kicked out of the facility. I want to say it's around May 20th is when they are allowed back in. It's like a week before OTAs begin. So that's when the rookies can come back into the facility. So, there's not an advantage to really having rookie minicamp 1 week versus the other. It's done in a way to kind of spread it out. So, teams can have it either right after the draft or 2 weeks after the draft, however works for them. And like I said, it works out for the players, because some of them can then go to 2 different rookie mini camps and try out for teams. So then you get to OTAs, which are going to start May 27th. Those will run through June 13th. There's 10 of those practices altogether. And then the mandatory minicamp will be June 17th through 19th. The vast majority of these practices and workouts are closed to the public. are open to the media. Some of the OTA workouts and the mini camp is open to the media. There are some that are open to season ticket holders. So if you're a season ticket holder, you might get an invite for that and an invitation. But there's only a couple of those, I guess. I think the mandatory mini camp may entirely be open to season ticket holders if you get an invitation. But those are your dates. April 21st, first day of off-season workouts. OTAs begin May 27th, run through June 13th. And then the mini camp will be June 17th through the 19th. So there you go. You got it official now. And hopefully I'll try and remember that going forward. So especially since I know I have a doctor's appointment on the 21st that, I might have to reschedule now. So let's cross our fingers there. All right. Where were we? Let's see. I know I saw. I was only a Brazil tip number 3, I think. There we go. Found Nikki's question. Fantastic. And so we'll get Brad's tip number 4. Brazil has a corn fetish. I like that direction there. Where we have hot dog carts, they have corn. Oh, you're talking about street corn. Sign me up for street corn. Street corn is fantastic. You had me at street corn. So I would go to Brazil just for the street corn. That sounds fantastic. And Brian hoping for another Hardman over Metcalf selection. I still think that draft is interesting because I know everybody has it as a Hardman and a DJ Metcalf situation. I tell you what, I'm hoping, I don't know, maybe one day we'll get to tell the story on it and everything, and we'll get the scoop years later. Remember, I assume everybody still remembers that the Mecole Hardman selection was taken in the aftermath of the Channel 5 story on Tyreek Hill that kind of set everything in a tizzy. And I'm still wondering if, all things being equal, if the Chiefs didn't take a corner that year in the second round. But your mileage may vary. Who knows? So I do want to tease it. It does appear that Nick will be here very shortly, because I know that many of you are waiting for Nick. So Nick will be here, and here I am looking for question marks. A1, how big of a need is right tackle with Taylor projected to make almost $30 million next year with little dead cap? Could they really cut him and go into 26 with possibly holes at both tackles? A1, they've done it before. That's kind of what's got them in the current situation that they were in when they, let Orlando Brown walk and let Andrew Wiley walk, and they did not have a tackle on the roster. And that was when they signed Jawaan Taylor, and it was basically, hey, Jawaan, here's a blank contract. Just sign it and we'll figure it out later. They needed a tackle, and so that's what they ended up getting. And that's why, answering at least one of those tackle positions right now would be key. If you're the Chiefs, if you can at least get one of those addressed. So, because like you said, next year is definitely a walk decision on Jawaan Taylor. And I think most of the projections and discussions and everything like that would have the Chiefs walking on Jawaan Taylor. There's obviously scenarios where they rework a deal and maybe he does stick around. So it's not a foregone conclusion, but that would be the anticipation. But if you're the Chiefs, then that means that you need to have a right tackle solution that you're figuring out right now, because right now you don't know what you have at left tackle. You're hoping that Jalen Moore is the answer. And if Jalen Moore works, great, then you've got to answer at left tackle for 2 years, and you can kind of kick the can down the curb, trying to find that permanent long-term solution. But you need to figure out, is it Wanya Morris? Is it Ethan Driscoll? Is it Chu Godric? Is it none of the above? Is it someone that you draft this year, to bring in and compete? I think right tackle is a need, A1, because if you're the Chiefs, you need 2 answers, and getting 2 answers in 1 year is really, really hard. So that's why I say I mean, you need to try and find both answers. I mean, they're both critical. So if you can figure out who your right tackle is, it's going to make at least addressing left tackle a little bit easier. If you're looking for a left tackle and a right tackle, then you've got problems. So, I mean, if you're the Chiefs, you'd like to be able to get an answer at least feel good about the answer to one of those going into next year. And hey, like I said, best scenario is maybe you find out enough this year from Wanya Morris that you're like, Wanya could be the right tackle of the future. And maybe Jalen Moore plays well enough that you're like, he can be the left tackle of the future. And now you're set for 26. I mean, the glass could be half full. It might be half empty. We'll find out for sure. Oh, let's see. Joe enjoyed listening to the Q&As all tax season. Appreciate that. Question for you and Nick. Don't worry, non-Andy Heck. Which type of receiver do you prefer? Style receiver, Worthy or Rice? No wrong answer. Ooh, wow. I mean, you need both. So there's that for sure. I tell you what, though, I mean, and this is not a knock on Xavier Worthy at all, but watching Rashee Rice just run with the football in his hands is a lot of fun. I mean, he runs like a running back, and like I said, this is no knock against Xavier. I just make some jokes every once in a while about the next yard after contact that Xavier gets will probably be the first. He's got more than that, but Rashee Rice is just a lot of fun to see work and to watch him. I mean, he's a skillful player. He's a good route runner. But watching him with the ball in his hands after a catch, I think it's pretty cool to watch. So I mean, like I said, you're right. There's no wrong answer. I mean, it's just kind of, what's your preference there? I mean, that's kind of, and I wouldn't, hey, if you're going to say, hey, I like a receiver that can run 50 yards down the field and catch the ball in stride and go into the end zone, man, it's pretty fun too. Pretty cool to watch. So I mean, obviously watching both of them is pretty fun to me, and you definitely need multiple kinds of receivers, and both those guys are two of the type of guys that you need, but there's just something when Rashee Rice is being Rashee Rice, he's just a lot of fun to watch run with the football. So I'll have to get Nick here in a minute and see what he has to say. See what his favorite style of receiver is. I'm sure. My guess is that Nick will say that his favorite style of receiver is the one that catches the football and doesn't drop it and scores lots of touchdowns. But your mileage may vary. And then Alex, which former Chiefs quarterback was selected in the 5th round who was a starter for the Iowa Hawkeyes? My favorite Hawkeye quarterback. And this was the year the Chiefs fired Haley. Oh, who was? Gosh. Oh, man, Nick knows the answer to this, I'm sure. So he is going to be very disappointed that I do not have the answer on the tip of my tongue. And normally I have all of these. Okay, so Haley was fired in 11. Who did they draft that year? Oh my gosh. Alex, can't believe you stumped the band on this one. I feel so stupid now. Why can't I remember this? I mean, I now have all these different, Chief quarterbacks going through my head of various skill levels and popularity. I mean, and now I'm just completely blanking on who that. Okay, I'm having to look it up because it's killing me. And you're all that I probably had to look this up. Oh God. Oh, America. How did I not think about Ricky freaking Stanzi? I'm so disappointed in myself. I can't believe I just blocked out Ricky Stanzi from my mind for a couple of moments there. I mean, I feel like Ricky Stanzi comes up at least once during every football season, like every week, just a random Ricky Stanzi story. Gosh, I'm embarrassed myself, Alex. Sorry. Brazil Trip 12 from Chris. Stadium is state of the art, but really small. It has an MLS stadium field. Food wise, eat before. Food there was terrible. And I mean frozen. Eat before you go to the game. Important safety tip. Yeah, I don't know. Are soccer games really known for their food? I don't feel like that they are. The soccer games are too short to really eat a lot of food. So I feel like that's probably going to a soccer stadium and expecting good food is probably a bad idea. I imagine they probably just don't know how to do it. Brian, can we get a rule change that says Europe needs to get their own dang league like Canada? I mean, tried it before, Brian, and didn't work out the first time, but I think it would be different the second time. And, at this point, I think probably the only thing that's really stopping the NFL from doing it and maybe going forward with an American league over there is just the cost of it. I think they're still trying to develop the game enough. I mean, to make no mistake, the NFL is actually putting in a lot of money into building up teams and players in other parts of the world. I mean, there are colleges in Europe, universities with American football teams, and they've been supporting them and trying to get them up and going. So, that eventually those can be programs that provide players to a football league. So they're going to try, but not there yet. Who is here now, though, is our good friend Nick Jacobs.
Hello, Matt Derrick and people of social media, YouTube, Facebook, Snapface, Matt Damon's social media.
Always have to get a Snapface reference in there. I like the Snapface.
That's right.
How are you this evening, Nick?
I'm here.
You're here.
That's right, Matt.
I haven't talked to you today, so I feel like that means that it's maybe your day was as rough as mine. Maybe rougher.
I don't know. I don't know what happened in your world, but I hope it's better, and I hope the Q&A has lightened your world.
Well, I hope that we lighten your world as well. I mean,
it depends on.
I mean, it's your day off, so I never want to make your day off worse.
We'll find out.
All right, I promised because Jesus chipped into $5 for the super chat that this would be the first question when you got here. Do you still want 2 running backs for the Chiefs?
If they have enough picks, yes, but they don't have enough picks yet. So, like I said last week, only 1 until then.
There can be only 1. It's the quickening. Ha ha. The Highlander. Yeah, there you go. It's the extent of my.
Sorry.
It's the extent of my Sean Connery.
My bad. Sorry.
See, and I mispredicted the answer to this because well, actually, I guess I did because I did say that you would probably only say 1, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that you were saying. So I guess the question is, how many picks would the Chiefs need to have before taking 2 running backs would be on your agenda?
Let's see what they get. You need to get some in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. You don't have enough right now.
Okay. So maybe like 11.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what they do.
All right. And I was also going to ask you the other question, which you probably remember because you may have been listening to it. Which style of receiver do you enjoy watching? Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy? And if I can get the question itself back up here so you can actually see the wording and answer it better than I asked it, would be even more amazing. Let's see. When was that? It wasn't that long ago, but I jumped over to Jesus's super chat and got lost. Okay, here we go. Yes. We've been entertaining Joe during tax season. Which type of receiver style do you prefer, Worthy or Rice? No wrong answer.
Tyreek Hill in his prime.
Okay, well, there you go. That's an answer.
Because Worthy doesn't have the stop-start that Tyreek did. Tyreek could take it to the house at any point. So my 2 favorite players to watch was Jamal Charles and Tyreek Hill. And you know what they both had in common? They were fast, they could stop-start, and they could change directions on a dime, and they were rare athletes. Same for Barry Sanders with the Lions. So
yeah, that's I every time I think about Tyreek changing directions and just absolutely pivoting on the dime, I go back to I interviewed Keith Williams, who was his off the, not off season wide receivers coach, and he's worked with the Ravens. I think he might be with the Saints now.
Yeah.
He's gone with a couple of teams, but he talked exactly about coaching that with Tyreek and about, what's involved and just, working with your hips to be able to do that and to be able to change direction like that, and how hard Tyreek worked at it. And I mean, because it's not just something that's not something you're born with. I mean, as talented as Tyreek was naturally, I mean, that's not something that you just figure out how to do. I mean, and do it. I mean, there takes a lot of work, and he changed directions and maintained speed better than just about anybody I've ever seen. Des with another super chat question. Any idea on what the compensation would be if Browns or Giants wanted to trade from 33 or 34 to 31? I'm going to bring up a trade chart, but go for it, Nick.
From the Rich Hill trade chart, the Chiefs pick is worth 190. The Browns are at 180, so they would only need 10 points. So that would be a fifth round. That would likely be a fifth round pick if they want to do it. Or they could do creatively something between a 6th and 7th, depending on what road they want to go. But yeah, it wouldn't take much for them to get up there.
Yeah, I mean that's a fairly small jump. And I'm looking at like the Jimmy Johnson chart. That would be a pretty similar move, late 4th, early 5th. So, I mean, if you wanted the 4th round pick, we could potentially get it by falling back into the 2nd round.
Yeah, the problem for Cleveland is I don't even think they've got a 5th rounder.
Well, that would be a problem.
I don't think the Giants do either. So they're going to have to. So at that point, they got to decide if they're willing to give up. Giants and Browns got to decide if they're willing to give up a high 4 or not.
Well, in that case, what you could do is that if you're one of those teams, you give me your 2026 4th round pick, and do you have a 7th this year you can kick in?
You're asking me?
No, it was more that was more rhetorical than it wasn't really.
The Giants have a 7th rounder, the Cleveland does not.
Say, we negotiate. We can work on some things.
And when I say Cleveland does not, I mean they don't have one that fits that point total, because their pick right now looks like it's 255, which is a 1 point.
That's pretty low pick. Yeah.
Y'all.
Yeah. I mean, that's not Mr. Irrelevant, but it's getting close.
Yes.
Oh, right. And now we get to the part of the show where once again Matt loses his place, but he's getting close. So which wide receiver would you prefer in KC, Nick?
Bond's the one who fits. I'm not a big Royals guy. In terms of player, not the team.
There you go. Well, I'm going to go with Nick on that one. So there you go. Your opinion on fantasy football? Personally, not a fan.
I do not care. I mean, I appreciate you asking the question. I'm just saying, fantasy football is not a high priority for me. I don't worry about it too much.
When was the last time, if ever, that you played fantasy football?
A couple of years ago when we had our Metro Sports League.
Oh, there you go. I think probably the last time for me may have been like 2017. And I have to say that my life since not playing fantasy football is so much more stress-free, because there is nothing, and this would probably be easier now that the Chiefs are the Chiefs and they don't play any, noon home games. But for me, there's just nothing worse than, being in the press box at like 12:01 on a Sunday at Arrowhead and realizing, oh crap, I didn't set my roster. Once I no longer had to worry about setting my roster every week, I mean, that not having that deadline pressure, Nick, I feel like a 50-pound weight was lifted off my shoulders.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear
it. Our cousin Luke, Nick, how many roster spots do you think are realistically available for the rookie class?
I don't know. I haven't really counted.
I mean, I mean, just based off the usual roster turnover, there's usually about 15 new players on a roster every single year. I mean, there's more turnover than you would ever expect on an NFL roster. So, granted, you've got some free agents who are going to be some of those spots, but
All right. See, I pulled my roster up. Ideally, you're wanting to get another. Ideally, you're wanting to get an X receiver if you can. You need a running back. I understand there's currently 5 on the roster, but you need a legit running back. I mean, if you get a tackle, you get a tackle, but they've taken it to where it's not necessarily a high priority short term at this moment. And then even if you do get the guy, can they actually develop him? But you need defensive line. Like you gotta get much better on the defensive line, short and long term, and you need to have depth at the cornerback spot before things go sideways. So I would say, I mean, in terms of the people you're drafting, at least five or six from that. You're probably hoping to get a handful of undrafted guys. So if you can turn over probably 10 to 15 spots on the roster, then you've upgraded to what you need to.
I mean, if it's a typical Chiefs season, I mean, I think you would probably have about 7 or 8 rookies on this team. So, I mean, and it doesn't always necessarily correspond with draft picks either. I mean, there have been years when the Chiefs have had 6 draft picks and they've had 8 rookies. I mean, because they've had maybe some undrafted guys who've made the team. So there's just a fair amount of turnover every single year. And for this team in particular, that's looking to get younger and faster at some spots, I mean, like you said, I could see a rookie making this team at offensive line, running back, receiver, defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker, corner, safety. There's 8 spots right there but are certainly going to be competitive for a rookie because the bottom of the roster is not a guarantee. I mean, even I would say your top 2, we talk about Brett Veach wanting to have a 2 deep roster going into the draft just so that you aren't forced to have to make some decisions and go a certain spot in the draft and maybe be forced to make a pick that you don't want to. I mean, that doesn't mean that some of those spots right now, just because they're filled, doesn't mean they're not competitive. There definitely is going to be some competition on the 2 deep. And there's probably, once again, I mean, every year there could be a starter that is a rookie. So even on a Super Bowl team. Rick, if Moore stays on this football team this season, does it mean he caught Andy Reid smoking cigarettes? I assume he's talking about Sky Moore. Why are we continuing to get Sky Moore questions, Nick?
I have no idea. Like I haven't thought about him once this offseason. Sorry.
Pano, what's all the hype about overseas games? I hate the thought of the Chiefs having to travel and tired from jet lag and losing. How do you feel about overseas games, Nick?
Look, the NFL is clearly thinks they've maxed out the dollar that they can make in the United States, and part of the way you make yourself recession-proof from a business model perspective is get more money from all over the world. So you saw a push at one point where they were focusing on getting women more interested in the game, and then they had a lightning strike in a bottle by the name of Taylor Swift that really took off and helped them really capture more of an audience that they normally couldn't reach. And in that time, they were using to build up the international game because the NBA has had a really good presence overseas for quite some time with their game. MLB is kind of 50-50, and then there's a lot of people that are passionate about what we call soccer here, they call football over there. And that's the football's quote unquote been called the world's game. So the NFL says challenge accepted, and they're playing that shark game where they're testing it out and they're going to find out. So a little bit differently than what the chart is. So I mean, but the NFL is trying to max out to where they're the highest earner in all of professional sports with nobody in a clear second, to where they could literally be their own 2 and 3. And that's just what they're going to do. And that's how they're going to operate. And the whole Netflix and streaming and all that stuff, that is part of them using that to get overseas audiences as well. and another way to get an avenue to people overseas that, have internet and have that aspect of it and can be able to do all that.
Yeah, from Chiefs standpoint, NFL standpoint, typically if you're going over to Europe, you get a bye week on the backside, so that helps. If the Chiefs do indeed go to Brazil, remember Brazil is, are they in the Eastern time zone? It's not a time change issue with Brazil. It's just a long flight to Brazil. So that wouldn't be a significant issue. And on top of that, you get a 2-day head start on everybody else. So by the time you got back from Brazil, it's Saturday and you're chilling. So, I think that's actually, all things being equal, not that bad of a situation. So, all right, Nick, you have the opportunity to decline this. And maybe we could even just say we're gonna do it next week instead, because this was a last minute thing. But the idea came up of doing a mock draft with a mock draft simulator during the Q&A. Are you up for it?
I don't care. You're ruining one of our shows in a couple of weeks, but sure.
Well, no, this would just be, let's fire up one of the simulators. We'll just make our picks in the simulator. You can make as many trades as you want.
It's fine. Pop it up. Let's go. Let's light this candle. We're going.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to do two separate ones or.
No, just do one.
All right. Do you have a preference on which one we use?
Mock draft simulator. So, do you have any other questions while they wait?
to get my act together?
No, for you to get your share screen and all this other stuff done that I know you're going to have to do right
now. Brian, we are never doing a soccer watch party. No. But you can all be reminded to hit the like button. I will do that. Brandon wants to know if there's 10 locks in the offensive line, could the Chiefs have 11 on the 53?
Right now, offensive line, Jalen Moore and Kingsley Suamataia, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Juwan Taylor. There's your 5. Next one's going to be Wanye Morris. We're at 6. Hunter Norzad makes 7. I think CJ Hansen's going to be 8. And I think Ethan Driscoll right now is 9. So I think anybody else is battling for 10 and maybe 11, depending on if they take anybody in the draft.
There you go. And this one, before I can get the mock draft simulator set and up and firing, this will be all yours. How do you feel about drafting Holland Pierce at 133 to play right tackle next year?
I don't know about 133, but we talked about him a couple weeks ago. 41 is the mic. Let me pull up the scouting report, because I don't think people know how many people I've watched in the past, however long at this point.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. You guys can tell me a fake name, and I probably 50-50. All right. Well, I think I've been asked this before, but here we go again. Holland Pierce from Rutgers. Pierce has the ideal size you want an offensive tackle and the arm length to go with it. He just needs to get his pad level down from the leverage part. Pierce has the potential to impose his will on any defender. His pad level is what keeps him from dominating at the point of attack. His foot quickness will need to improve when they attack his inside shoulder or if they try to beat him with speed. He has a little stiffness because of his overall build. Question is, can Andy Heck and Corey Matei fix the pad level and be able to enhance his foot quickness? And if there's anything else they see that I did not see that needs to be fixed. So, yes, they do have Juwan Taylor in front of it. It's just a matter of, do they think they can fix those things before his rookie contract ends?
All right. So our mock draft is underway here, Nick. So
okay, but are you able to share the screen, or the whole purpose is sharing the screen?
Yeah, that would be a really good purpose, wouldn't it? Okay,
that's the whole purpose of doing this, so they can interact and follow along with it.
I was thinking about the interaction part. I wasn't really thinking ahead about the sharing the screen part, but we're going to make it work here because you are the television genius and I am questionable at times.
Hey, I'll be back here in a second. Hold on, okay?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'll mute my camera. You can keep me up.
Okay, so here we are. All right. Well, we'll get Slam and Sammy's question off there, so we will have a little bit less of a distraction. I am going to be trying to set up my sharing of the screen here. We are going with this one, and you will see that hopefully when it comes up, there we go. We have a trade offer. So I'll wait till Nick gets back here so he can evaluate our trades. My only problem with some of these trades is that if I could put in a block, because the Las Vegas Raiders are never calling the Chiefs to offer up a trade. So I almost want to reject this one out of principle, even though that's a ton of draft capital to be giving up to move up 6 spots. So, I mean, I kind of want to take this just because it would be ripping off the Raiders, but the Raiders would never call to make that trade. Oh, and look,
Matt,
I screwed up.
I'm back with props.
Just to let everybody know that you're an Emmy winner.
Two time.
Okay, I screwed up because I misclicked. We had 2 trade offers, and I messed up.
Okay.
Because I clicked just out. I clicked the window. I didn't click no. I just clicked the window.
Hit the restart. Just hit the restart.
Oh, okay, fine. We're gonna hit
it's
the restart.
No, it's the restart button right there. It's at the bottom, right there.
Okay, we're restarting. Let's see. Okay. We'll do this. Okay. All right, we're restarting. Then now I feel like it's no longer official, but
you want to do fast.
Oh yeah, I meant to click fast. I did that. I did it on the last one.
Mm-hmm. So.
All right, and we're starting.
If you scroll up, I'll be able to see who's being taken in each spot.
All right. Well, this Carolina Panthers trade was one of the ones that came up earlier.
You don't have to reject it. Just move past it. Don't just never call them back.
Do you want to accept any trades?
I don't know. There's 3 offers. That's the first one. The first one's a no, but you don't have to reject it. We just leave them there.
Okay.
We don't. We just. No.
I mean, this is also a no to me.
Yeah, it's a no. That's a no as well. Okay.
Don't want to fall back to 50. The first one, the Raiders were offering number 37 overall, and then like 4 more picks.
Yeah.
So we're rejecting all of these. Okay. Now you can see who's on the board. Omarion Hampton is still available.
Yeah, he's going to be in this. He won't in real life, but he is in this.
He won't in real life. Oh,
all right. Here's my advice to you.
Yes.
Scroll up.
Yes.
Okay. All the way up. You just got to remember your graphics, and there you go. Okay. So go to trade.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Click it.
Yes.
And then go from Arizona, gun into Cleveland. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So take 63 in your second rounder. Mm-hmm. In your second rounder next year. So scroll down. There you go.
Yep.
And scroll back up. And go to 33. Yep. And then see if they'll give you the 104. See and get greedy and see if they give you either try 179. Nope. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna have to get off Cleveland and get back on there. It's annoying the way that's set up on the system.
Okay.
Yep. So just any other one. Yep. And then go back to Cleveland. Okay. So 20. You're good on your front. Yeah. So you just got to go back up the second round, 33. Then fourth, 104. Then do 192. They should give it to you 192. So greedy. Okay. 216 it'll be. So, all right. We'll say goodbye to Cleveland. We'll miss you. Then we'll come back to Cleveland. Oh, hey. It's good to talk to you again. All right. 33, 104. Then do 216. They're not gonna get huffy about it. Okay. Hit trade.
That's a steal.
Sit trade. Oh, look, you got offers again. It's weird. Once you blockade them, they give you more offers. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. You're getting the third, so you're getting the 77. You're getting 171. I mean, I'm personally good with it. It's up to you if you want to do it.
If you want to do it, we'll do it.
Do it. Light that candle.
So the Patriots.
Yep. Okay. I want to go 36 and 38. I would do this one personally, but that's up to you. Okay. So let's just go through the offers, see what they're doing.
Well, the Chargers are never calling, so that's not going to happen.
Not with that attitude. Yeah, no, we're not doing any of
that. You don't want 4 picks. You don't want a first-round pick in 2026.
Right. You can X out of that. You don't have to reject them. Just never call them.
Sorry.
Just X out. Just don't call them again. Okay, so you got 2 right here. The Raiders are going to be in front. The Bears will be the one who will take him, not the Raiders. Scroll down and see if Nolan's still there. I got a sneaky suspicion he still is. He's a 31. Yep. I would take Nolan. Okay, and scroll back up. Yeah, that's not enough. But thanks. Well, you get 2 other offers.
I accidentally hit the X and screwed it up.
All right, so go back down to offers. It's on the far. You can No, that's trade. You can hit
sorry.
X.
Oh, I see offers.
Yeah, and just go back over. Scroll the other ones.
Well, I could have done that. No, I couldn't have. Yeah, I could have. I could have done that earlier.
Yeah, you could have. No, it's a no for me.
That's an insane offer.
Still no. All right, close out. We're done.
I mean, I would take this offer in a heartbeat, but it's not realistic.
Okay. So at this point, we're gonna see what people are gonna say here. Joey, the draft site's called it. It's right there at the top. It says an NFL mock draft database simulation. So for me, you're weighing between a dynamic running back and Amari Hampton. You get a future left tackle that you're not having to do a first round pick on, but I'm still not for it. Scroll down a little bit. Irianti Ursuri. Oh, he's at 45 now. Okay. So that's changed from this morning. So the question you're asking yourself is if Irianti Ursuri, if he's the one you want, because you've got your future 3 tech and no line. So you're just trying to decide, do you want a left tackle? Do you want a star running back? Or do you want a receiver? And Matt, I'm leaving this one up to you.
I mean, based on this group right here, I feel like Omari and Hampton is just too good to pass up.
Matt, it's your pick to do. Do what you're going to do.
We're taking Omari and Hampton then.
All right. All right, you have to scroll back up so people can see. There you
go. I saw Ursuri was off the board. Okay.
So yeah, just keep scrolling. All right, for this one, let's let the people in the comment section decide. So we're gonna let the people in the comment section decide. Whoever gets the most names is gonna be the one that
There you go. I like it.
Go with, and we can just rotate through. Since nobody in the comment section is interior offensive line, get out of here. Come on.
Come on, son.
So we're reaching for safety, according to Mitchell. You guys have to get this comments in quicker, otherwise Burden's not available.
I guess I should go back up to the top and let you see who's available.
All right, we'll give you 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was no consensus. Nikki said Edge. The Johnson. Oh, you're talking about Caleb Johnson. There's no consensus yet. So the second we get 2 of the same, then that's what we'll
we have 1 vote for everybody.
No, there's 2 for Mason Taylor. So you can just take Mason Taylor.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
So we're okay. We're taking
Taylor's kid.
We're taking Mason Taylor.
There you go. All right.
All right.
Yeah, Mason Taylor got taken. All right, you can just exit out. You don't have to reject it. That's just rude.
I just want to know if you wanted to take the trade or not.
Tell him to call him back.
All right. So now you can see Caleb Johnson's still available if you want a second running back.
Jordan Birch is still available, so go Birch.
Can't interest you in a Wylet Milam?
Nope.
Jordan Birch? Edge?
Yep. Yes.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Consider the trades.
That's a no for me on that one. It's got to have a third. Ooh, those sneaky people. I have a third in there. I'm intrigued. All right. You can see if there's a better one in the next one. Oh, yeah, they did.
I mean, once again, I would take this in a heartbeat, but
I would say, well, accept it. That's fine. Well, that's what we're going to do. Accept it. There you go.
Some of these trades are not terribly realistic.
Okay, well, you know what? We're living in this mock simulator world right now. And Slammin' Sammy MH Joe, you can feel free to go take whoever you want in your mock draft. This is the communal mock draft, okay? And you can go start your own podcast where you can have people watch and tell you what to do.
All right.
Let's see. I picked Birch, so you go ahead and do what you want to do. And then next one will be the people in the comment section when the time arises.
Decisions.
So you've got a let's see, you got a star running back. Or you got a good running back, you got a 3-tech, you got an edge rusher, and you got a tight end.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I mean, my toss up right here is between Milam and Jacob Parrish.
Okay.
I really like Jacob Parrish.
It's your pick.
All right, I'm taking Jacob Parrish.
All right, let's scroll. Well, we're already back at 95. This will be, yeah. We're gonna let people decide in here in their comment section, but you have to scroll up for them.
I was gonna say, you no declining the trade.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're trying to pick people. We're trying to create excitement right now. Oh, people! The Andrew has been mentioned a couple times. Get your votes in now. Mitchell is the first one who's still got Andrew on the board. I think somebody else wanted him earlier. I'm going to look in the comment section while people respond. But Andrew, let's see. Andrew is that one. Andrew. No, it's just Mitchell again. Sorry.
Mitchell still get Wyatt Milam.
Passionate about the safety. Oh, we got 2 for the safety. 2 for Turner. 2 for Turner, 2 for the safety. Next one wins it. It's safety.
Did Mitchell vote for the safety 3 times?
No, he didn't. Yeah, you've already got it. So
okay, so we're taking the safety.
Yeah, man.
All right. Safety is picked.
I'll just tell you final answer each time.
We have 4 trade offers, Nick.
Nope, don't even care about any of them. Close them.
Don't even care about any of them.
Don't even care. Okay.
All right.
So at this point, I'm gonna let's scroll up. Let's go D-line. Let's see what D-line says. When you scroll up to the position group.
You want to go specifically D-line?
Ah, there you go.
Your guy Ty Robinson.
Yep, take him. Don't even want to talk about it. Just do it.
Don't even care. We're just taking Ty Robinson. And we're back on the clock, and we have a trade.
Oh, dude, that gives us more picks. Do it.
Those are all future picks.
Nope.
Once again, I can't believe that trade. I'd take it in a heartbeat, but no.
All right, I did. Okay. Let's see. So they did it. I did. Now it's your turn. And you can go back to all if you need to.
Oh, yeah, we do need to go back to all.
Yep. But Nikki would like to let you know she's a big fan of Caldwell, who's a one-tech nose tackle. But it's your pick, Matt.
Gosh, this is hard. It's getting harder deeper into the draft.
Matt, we're gonna start losing. We're gonna start losing people here soon.
Well, we do have 14. We do have 14 picks.
As we should. I hope we have 20. I hope we have 20.
Since we have 14 picks, I might as well take Harold Fannin Jr. He's the best player available.
So you're gonna have like a 6 tight end. All right.
We're gonna go 3 and 4 tight ends as much as possible.
All right, scroll back up so people can see. All right. So this is the people's part right here. So first one, you gotta check for Nikki to see if Caldwell's still there.
Top of the board.
Oh, Caldwell's still there for Nikki.
He's the top defensive tackle available. Devin Neal available if you want a second running back. Holland Pierce, asked about earlier.
We just need one consensus. So right now we've got Caldwell, wide receiver William, Stutzman, the linebacker, and you got another one. You got 3 for Caldwell, Matt. Just do it.
All right.
There you go. You got your one tech. Congratulations. You are now the proud owner of a one tech from Oregon. Close it out. We're done with trades. We've got plenty. We're gonna no to any more trades. You scroll back up so I can see what the heck's going on up there.
Oh yes.
No, we're back on the board. Okay. So this is our turn. Okay. Scroll back up, please. Okay. Go to my selections. I just want to double check where we're at. Okay. So
we got selected 14 players already.
That's fine. Okay. So we got Walter Nolan. Hold on. You got the running back, you got tight end, you got edge. So from an edge perspective, your D-line perspective, you're doing great. Birch. Okay. Scroll down a little bit more, please. Okay. So the only thing left you would need on D-line's edge, but your Barrett linebacker. Scroll down just completely so I see what picks we got left. Gosh, that is fantastic. Love having all those picks. Okay. So 136, 146, 163. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yep. Sorry, guys. This is my pick. You guys get 2 more picks. All right. Scroll up for me. Go to linebacker, please. Ooh, he's gonna be gone a little bit, but I'll wait till then. Okay. Yeah. No linebackers here for me. Scroll back up. Cornerback. Let's see. 133. He's gonna be gone a couple. Okay. No cornerback. Let's see wide receiver. I'm sure he's gone at this point, but I'm gonna check. Yeah, he's gone. Okay. Offensive tackle. Let's see. I'm just gonna do it. For me personally, Chase 149. Chase Lunt, UConn.
Chase Lunt. He's yours. Brady Cook just went to the New York Jets.
Good for him.
We're not taking any more trades. We have enough picks. Nick has decided.
All right. So we can go back to all and let's see. Is this yours, right?
I guess it's mine. So
yep. Good luck to you.
Exactly.
Rob, I want all them picks.
Make more trades. I want all those picks.
I like your style, Rob.
I mean, you just took a tackle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing left would be if you wanted an edge rusher, cornerbacks, if there's something else you like at receiver, and then linebackers. But there's a lot of good linebackers late. It's also
well, I won't take your guy.
No, you can do it because I'm going a different road. If you want to, go for it. Then you get the 2 running backs.
I'm getting too far down the draft now, so I'm deciding on a receiver.
No, Landon Jackson. He normally goes in the 50 range. He's been long gone. In fact, he may have already flown to his new team while we've been doing this.
I'm going to go Dante Thornton. I'm going to go SEC.
Okay. So this will be the people's pick. Hold on, I gotta defer this. My work computer's wanting to restart.
Yes, the people's
so
pick.
this will be up to the people. This is the people's pick. This is your chance. Shine right now. Shine bright like a diamond. I see no names in there, other than Devin Neal and Mondo. But this is your chance, people, in the comment section.
I'm kind of disappointed. No one has been voting for Holland Pierce yet.
No, Slayman's gonna constantly vote for him after he asked about him. So don't worry. You got one for Neal, one for Pierce, one for an inside offensive lineman. You got two for Neal, Matt.
Got two for Devin Neal.
Let's go for Neal.
All right, we're going for Devin Neal.
All right.
All right, your turn, Nick.
Yes. Linebacker, just for me. Go linebacker. Take Teddy Buchanan at 193.
Teddy Buchanan is yours.
Thank you.
And we're back on the block.
And that's all you.
Man. Decisions.
Mitchell. I don't know what to tell you. Okay.
What's Mitchell? Who's Mitchell pounding the table for?
Nobody. He's just saying this is the most unrealistic draft ever. Yeah.
Oh, it is definitely unrealistic.
It's what mock drafts are.
I'm having a hard time here. Gosh. I mean, I want some more weapons. I just took a receiver. I may take another one.
How many do you have? You've got a tight end and you got a wide receiver, bro.
Well, you can never have enough weapons.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we have 16 picks. I mean,
yeah, that's fine. Go for it. You got your two running backs.
We've literally taken almost every position at this point.
Yeah, good. Somebody asked earlier.
Brady Cook's already been taken. Or are we taking him at this point?
Why? No, you take him in the 7th round. Nobody.
You know, we still need an edge, so I'm going with the Texas kid.
Okay. All right, this will be up for the people. This will be the people's choice. Nope, I'm seeing pass rush. Or no, well, you just did, so they might still be responding to what you already did. Sean says BPA. Lemon says Kobe. I don't know if Kobe's still there.
And Kobe might be gone.
Somebody just said Hamilton. Somebody said Moore. Brian. Oh, man, that's great. All right, we need a consensus. Otherwise, so we have 3 different names for 3 different corners, but no consensus on corner. But if you want to, all right, so you get 2 BPA and then somebody saying corner. So technically, by their definition, Tommy Hill would be that.
Tommy Hill's going to be it. All right, We're taking Tommy Hill, people.
There you go. I'll miss you, Bashard Smith.
And now we're back on the clock.
Yeah, as much as I would take Bashard Smith here, I can't because you already get. Yeah, go back to the players. Let's see where we're at players wise, because I'm pretty sure players wise, you've taken everything imaginable.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've taken 15 selections. Okay. We have 4 left.
Okay, great. I like it. Okay.
We haven't taken a quarterback or an interior offensive lineman or a specialist yet.
Okay. All right, let's go with the player list. And then what number are we right now?
This is number 216.
216. Okay. Yeah, just take Garrett Dillinger.
We have now addressed interior offensive line.
So this will be yours.
I'm just going to see who's available. No, I'm doing it. I don't care if he's an undrafted free agent. I mean, I want to make sure that we take everybody who did an interview with 41 as the mic. So okay. I am taking the next understudy, Graham Mertz.
Okay, so this will be
251.
Well, and this is up to the people on this one.
There you go, people. It's
All right,
yours.
guys, this is your. This might be one of your last picks, if I remember correctly. So, if you want to do best player, if you want to do position, it's up to you. And Joe, we're not doing a kicker. Kickers are not people.
Kickers are people too.
Nope, not today. No, but you might as well just stay at the top.
All right, people. There's your. At this point in the draft, the mock draft simulator, I don't think is even giving us recommendations anymore. It's given up.
Well, it's because we had so many picks. That's why.
You have addressed all your needs.
Pretty much why. All right, so nobody has any consensus about what they want. Everybody's just saying best player available at this point.
Well, you know, Andy Reid be saying take the BYU kid. So
Matt, they're saying best top
That's
guy.
Yale.
There, you've got so many people saying BPA, so take it.
There you go. It is BYU. No, it is BYU. Thank you. And we're back on the clock.
What number?
257. Mr. Irrelevant right here.
Ah, oh, that's me. I love it. Okay. Go to linebacker for me, please. Let me scroll down. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Ooh, he's gone. He got taken. Okay. All right. Nope. Here you go.
Look at the long snappers.
No. Corner. Go to corner, please. Fortune. 248.
O'Donnell Fortune. That's
And
a heck of a name to be taking for
with the mock
Mr.
draft that
Irrelevant.
somebody wanted us to do. We did it live in the Q&A. You guys were a part of it. Matt was a part of it. I was a part of it. So you were able to get your 3-tech Walter. You were able to get your 3-tech Walter Nolan. You were able to get the running back you needed to be dynamic in Marion Hampton. You get your tight end, Mason Taylor. You've got your defensive end that could potentially replace George Karlaftis or Charles Omenihu, depending on what they want to do on that front. You have Jacob Parrish that is similar size to Trent McDuffie and could potentially take over for him or learn from him. You have Andrew, who could probably, we'll see what he does for Brian Cook. You have Ty Robinson, one of arguably the most underrated 3-techs in this draft. So him and Nolan can help out Chris, and Robinson can actually kick outside to end on some rush downs if he needs to. You have Fannin, a tight end, who they can use as a weapon multiple ways. You got your 1-tech nose tackle and Jamari Caldwell. You have your right tackle of the future and Chase Lunt. You have another speed wide receiver that can only run vertical routes, and Dante Thornton. That's new Jalen Hyatt on this team. You have Devin Neal, who could be your change of pace back to go with Hampton. Both have good size. Neal has vision, so that gives you a nice little 1-2 punch. You have arguably one of the best coverage linebackers in the draft, and Teddy Buchanan, who can cover anybody 15, 20 yards downfield. Insane, going to be a phenomenal special teams player. Then you have Sorrell. That I don't think he's going to be on my board, but we got him. Then you have Tommy Hill, who's got really good size for a cornerback, fits with the Chiefs like profile-wise. Garrett Dillinger is a good interior offensive lineman. Got a solid dry block to him. You got a long-term guy in Graham Mertz. You'll probably, I don't know if you have to put him on IR, but he's working out with Bobby Stroop right now, and he threw it his pro day, so you have that individual. Tyler Beatty is a guy that's probably going to be on your practice squad this year. And O'Donnell Fortune is actually a really good, underrated coverage corner that I don't think he's going at 257, but in this draft he did. So, in total, most of those people probably didn't think I could rattle all that off about all those prospects.
I knew you could. I mean,
here we were. So,
I'm still not entirely sure we haven't made one of these guys up, but
no, they're all real. I promise you on that. Okay, Matt, you can get rid of the share. Do we have any final questions? Because it is 9:07 at this point. Shine bright like a diamond.
I feel like the first 3 picks were educational, and then it kind of got off the rails. But Walter Nolan, reasonable as the Chiefs' first selection, I would agree.
Yeah, no, I think that may actually happen. But he would be the understudy for Chris Jones as the 3-tech.
Yeah, there you go. All righty. Let's see. I knew we were getting actually close to the end before we started the draft, so there might not be a bunch of missing questions. Let's see. Alex wants to know, Nick, what kind of numbers does a prime Dwayne Bowe put up with Patrick Mahomes?
The problem for Dwayne Bowe is he had a lot of contested catches. So Patrick may throw contested catches, but he's got to be able to trust you. And Dwayne Bowe had a problem where he wouldn't necessarily stay on the line in a playoff game that cost him on the fourth down thing that actually probably could have won them that game in the wild card back in 2013 and maybe changed a little bit of the trajectory for the Chiefs. So Dwayne Bowe would have to be a little bit more accountable in terms of what he would do in terms of all the finer points that Andy Reid likes his receivers to do. That's why Dwayne was released pretty soon after. So, I mean, prime Dwayne Bowe is still a contested receiver that Mahomes may throw a lot of slants to him and everything, but I don't know if Dwayne could get the type of shake that Kelsey could on a lot of the routes Dwayne would probably run that'd be similar to Kelsey.
Uncle Charlie, regarding the banter in the chat a few weeks ago on Hamilton, which defensive tackle fits better with the Chiefs? Ty Hamilton from Ohio State or Keontae Hamilton from Rutgers?
I personally like Ty Hamilton a little bit more. So that's where I'm at on that.
There you go. Jimmy's, does Coach Reid have a different definition of accountability? What's missing from the GM, head coach, offensive line coach formula that keeps netting the same results at offensive tackle? Is it loyalty, cronyism, the new transparency? I mean, Andy Reid is loyal to his guys. I do believe that loyalty ends at some point. So at some point, you do have to start asking for accountability. It's either scouting, it's either coaching, or a combination thereof.
I personally feel like they got this year to figure it out. And then after that, I'm going to start hitting the drum a little bit louder. And by a little bit louder, I mean a lot louder. But I don't think I don't like the cronyism stuff no, we're not. That's not the case on that front. No. It's just, I think Andy Reid feels like it's his response. I've talked about this before earlier this year. I think Andy Reid thinks it's his responsibility to coach all the coaches up and to get them to a point to where if they ever need to go out on their own outside the Chiefs organization, that they're ready to really kind of be a coordinator or a head coach or something like that, or have all the proper training under him so that he can extend to them what he learned as well. So I think Andy, at times when he says that's on me, that's his way of not only taking ownership and deflecting for everybody else in there, but at the same time, I think it's his way of essentially taking ownership and feeling like maybe he let down his coach in some way. And that's what good leaders do. And good leaders, look inward to see what they could change fault wise or what they think they might have fault wise. And then when they go outward, then they, try to adjust accordingly to it. So I think he wants to give his coaches every opportunity to succeed, but I do think there is a point where if he has to hit the reset button, he will.
Slam and Sammy, would you prefer the Chiefs draft Giddens or Neal at running back?
Neal.
I am the same. And I mean, where was it? Mitchell, want to know what your shirt says tonight.
Man, Mitchell is all about what my shirt says every time.
Brian says shirts don't talk. So yeah. Brian gets some points back there.
All right. It says hard pass. It's got a football on it. I've worn it many times before. All right, Matt, final questions here.
And you got some Jamari Caldwell thoughts for Nikki.
Yeah, because Nikki, she already got it in her mock draft when she kept standing on the table for Caldwell.
Good job, Nikki. Proud of you. You did. You made your argument. You pounded the table. You got your pick. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Ben wants to know: do you think Rashid serves a suspension in 26?
Until the court case is resolved, until that situation is done, I don't have anything from it. Just wait for that to resolve itself out and get to wherever it's going to get on that front, and then go from there. And
hey, we're getting some Don Fortune references in the chat. So,
I don't know. Okay. All right.
Don Fortune too old for you?
What?
Is Don Fortune too old for you?
No, I know exactly who he is.
Well, I think we've exhausted the questions then.
All right. Well, I got stuff to do, Matt, so I'm going to go do that.
Well, Nick, thank you as always for joining us. Everybody, thank you for joining us again for the chat. Hopefully you had fun with our nonsensical mock draft. I think that I think there was actually some informative picks there. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Chiefs are going to pick at least one player that we took, since we did take like 38 players. So we got
hope, Matt. It would be funny if they took none of them.
the unguided arrow never misses, Nick. So remember that. Hey, we've got another exciting 41 is the Mike draft preview show coming up this week, where we are going to be doing another position breakdown, like our final position breakdown, before we do our real mock draft, getting ready for the actual draft, which is 16 days away, Nick. Draft season is here.
Yep, but for me right now, the Rent Award season is Thursday night at 6:30. So I'm gonna go lock in on that tomorrow. So I'll be focusing on that.
There you go. Well, we all wish you the best with that, Nick. Thank you very much for joining us as always. Everybody, hope you have a great week. We will see you on 41 is the Mic on Sunday, and then next week another round of Chiefs Digest live Q&A to clean everything up. So I'm worried Nick has something else for us.
It's draft season.
we hopefully one day, Nick, this show will win awards.
I don't know if they have one for best Q&A at between 7 to 9:15, or best lightning round, or
man, if the pitch did like best lightning round, we could be in that one.
I mean,
I like our chances.
Yeah, I think it'll be their definition of what a lightning round is. It's draft season.
Have a great